Does the administration feel Gaddafi was an ally in the war on terror at that point?
Well, I think he clearly had a very mixed record, and I think a careful consideration of his long record would probably not conclude that Colonel Gaddafi was a friend and ally of the United States.
In the annals of modern Middle Eastern leaders, there may be no individual considered by some to be more devious and more insanely delusional than Muammar Gaddafi, leader of Libya from 1969 to 2011, a dictator who saw himself as more God than mere man at times. While his rule is littered with the nightmare of despots, Gaddafi had a connection to ISIS in the years before his overthrow, a connection that might have saved untold lives. Because when there was the chance for the Obama administration to save Libya and perhaps cut off some of the current madness, they failed. And they've got to bear their share of responsibility for this current nightmare. The new book is called Architects of Disaster, the top-selling foreign policy book on Amazon. And its author maintains President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton need to answer for their mistakes. Let's welcome back the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Shillman Senior Fellow at the Investigative Project on Terrorism, and author of that book, Pete Hoekstra. Pete, it's always a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you here. And from what we're able to read here and glean early, it seems as if what you're saying is the president and this administration had the perfect pawn sitting right there ready to go if only they had triggered it and put Gaddafi to good use. Yes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yesterday or this week, Josh Earnest, when talking about what happened in Libya, got it all wrong. Gaddafi was a despot until 2003. This is a phenomenal success story of American foreign policy under Republicans and Democrats. From 2003 till about 2009, 2010, Gaddafi did everything we asked him to do. He paid reparations. He got rid of his nuke program. He helped us in the fight against radical jihadists, and then America turned on him. This president, the former Secretary of State, they imposed a solution on the people of Libya. They killed Gaddafi. And now Josh Earnest says, you know, we really need to form a relationship with the new government. Josh, there isn't a government in Libya. It's a huge problem. It's now an exporter of radical jihadism throughout northern Africa. And ISIS, the members of ISIS, and the weapons that ISIS is using in Syria and Iraq, much of that came from Libya.
Let's be real honest here, Pete. We're not talking about a bad guy who all of a sudden became a nice guy. It's not as if Muammar Gaddafi all of a sudden became an angel. But isn't this what you look to do in foreign policy and intelligence more than anything else? You got to find the guy that's on the inside, you turn him, you use him to your advantage, and you stop people from dying. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing on a daily basis?
Oh, absolutely. In the book, we outline many of the atrocities that are directly attributable to Gaddafi. The shoot down of Pan Am 103, the bombing of a discotheque in Berlin. He was an evil person, but in 2003, he decided that for his own survival, you're right, he didn't become a better person, but he decided that for his own survival, he had to ally with the West and offer them something, and that was intelligence and military cooperation against the threat of radical Islam. He did that. Was he perfect? Did Libya all of a sudden become a model of Western democracy? No, but it was an island of stability in northern Africa that protected that soft underbelly of Europe. He was working with us, as evil as he still may have been.
About 90 seconds left. Isn't it just, if we look, that there are people out there complaining that with regard to the Bush administration, oh, you went in, you took out a leader here, and you created a vacuum. We don't hear the same thing here, because isn't it fair to say that what Obama and Hillary Clinton did was the exact same thing? They created the vacuum. They didn't know what they were going to do when it was all done. They might have had good intentions, but they absolutely screwed the pooch on this one.
The analogy is almost 100% the same, except for one thing. Saddam Hussein was not an ally of the United States. He wasn't helping us fight the threats that we faced in the Middle East. He was an enemy of the United States. Gaddafi was an ally of the United States. This is an example of where, after 20 years of bipartisan Republican and Democrat efforts to bring Gaddafi in, we succeeded. President Obama, Secretary Clinton, they snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Okay, let me stop there, Pete. I got about 30 seconds
left. Part of the world.
I got about 30 seconds left then. Why did they do that then? If they have victory sitting there, why did they take this action?
Because they believed that they could work with and trust radical jihadists. It's the same strategy they used in Yemen, Egypt, and Libya. It failed every time. These people are evil. We need to confront, contain, and destroy them.
And once again, it is, in your opinion and in the opinion of the book, another government that just doesn't seem to learn from history, right?
Absolutely. We've failed to learn our lessons.
The White House is not failing to strike back at this, but the White House right now is being hit with some very serious charges that they need to hear again. This could have been averted. The book, once again, is called Architects of Disaster. It's available on Amazon. It's a bestseller there, and it is at better bookstores always. Pete Hoekstra, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk again soon. Stay with us. We'll continue the fastest 60 minutes in news, The Hardline, on Newsmax.